The alert chimed through the bridge of the UES Meridian with an urgency that made Captain Sarah Chen's coffee cup rattle against her desk. She'd been reviewing supply manifests for their patrol route along the outer rim when the quantum sensors detected something impossible, a human signature emerging from the void zone. "Captain," Communications Officer Rodriguez called out, his voice tight with confusion. "We're receiving a transmission on ancient Earth frequencies. It's in Old English, ma'am." Chen set down her cup and moved to the central display. The void zone stretched before them, a region of space that had been quarantined for 3 centuries after the vanishing. 17 colonial expeditions had disappeared into that sector during humanity's early expansion period, swallowed by gravitational anomalies that defied explanation. "Put it through," she ordered. Static filled the bridge, then cleared to reveal a weathered face framed by silver hair. The man wore clothing that looked like something from Earth's colonial archives, but his eyes held depths that seemed far, older than any human should possess. "This is Admiral Marcus Webb of the Terra Australis Colonial Fleet," the figure said. "We're requesting permission to rejoin the human collective. We've been away for some time." Chen exchanged glances with her first officer. Terra Australis had been the last expedition to enter the void zone, nearly 400 years ago. If this was real, it should be impossible. Even with the best medical technology, no one lived that long. "Admiral Webb," Chen replied carefully. "Terra Australis was lost in 2387. That's 4 centuries ago. How is this possible?" Webb's smile was enigmatic. "Time moves differently where we've been, Captain. We've learned much during our sabbatical. Perhaps it's time we shared what we've discovered." Within hours, a fleet materialized from the void zone. But these weren't the primitive colonial ships that had vanished centuries ago. The vessels that emerged defied every law of physics humanity thought it understood. They moved without visible propulsion, their hulls seeming to bend space around them. Energy readings showed power signatures that exceeded anything in the known galaxy. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the Meridian's chief science officer, stared at her instruments in disbelief. "Captain, those ships are generating energy patterns I've never seen. It's like they're tapping directly into the quantum foam itself." The lead vessel, still bearing the faded markings of Terra Australis, docked with practiced ease. Admiral Webb stepped aboard, looking exactly as he had in the transmission, accompanied by a small retinue of equally ageless colonists. "You must have questions," Webb said as Chen escorted him to the conference room. "I'll answer what I can, though some truths are difficult to convey in words your current language possesses." Chen gestured to a chair. "Start with the obvious. 1. How are you still alive?" Webb settled into his seat with movements that seemed to flow like liquid. "We didn't just disappear, Captain. We were taken, selected. There are entities that exist in the spaces between galaxies, ancient beyond measure. They've been watching, waiting, testing younger species for potential." "Entities?" Dr. Vasquez leaned forward. "You mean aliens?" "Not aliens as you understand them," Webb replied. "Beings that were old when this galaxy was young. They exist outside conventional space-time, in dimensions your science hasn't yet discovered. They took us because humanity showed something they found interesting." Chen felt a chill. "What kind of something?" "Adaptability, curiosity, the willingness to sacrifice everything for knowledge." Webb's eyes grew distant. "They subjected us to trials, showed us technologies that predate the formation of this galactic cluster, taught us to see reality as they do, not as fixed points in space and time, but as malleable constructs waiting to be reshaped." Through the viewports, Chen could see more ships emerging from the void zone, hundreds of them now, all bearing the impossible fusion of ancient human design and technology that seemed to mock the laws of physics. "We learned their arts," Webb continued. "How to step outside linear time, how to harness the fundamental forces that bind reality together, how to reshape matter at the quantum level with thought alone. They made us their students." "And now you're back," Chen said. "Why?" Webb's expression grew serious. Because we've learned something that requires immediate action. The entities that taught us, they're not the only ancient powers in the universe. Something else stirs in the deep dark between galaxies, something hostile to all life as we know it. He gestured, and the air above the conference table shimmered. A holographic display materialized, showing vast writhing forms moving through the cosmic void. Creatures of such alien geometry that looking at them made Chen's mind struggle to process what she was seeing. The Devourers, Webb said simply. They consume not just matter and energy, but the very concept of existence itself. Planets, stars, entire civilizations, all become as if they never were. And they're coming. Dr. Vasquez studied the display, with scientific fascination and growing horror. How long do we have? In conventional time? Perhaps 50 years before they reach the Milky Way's outer edges, but time can be adjusted, for those who know how. Webb stood, his form seeming to blur slightly at the edges. We've returned to prepare humanity, to share what we've learned, to give our species the tools it needs to survive what's coming. Chen felt the weight of impossible responsibility settling on her shoulders. What do you need from us? Nothing you aren't already capable of giving, Webb replied. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology or our military might. It was our refusal to accept the impossible as insurmountable. We need you to do what humans do best, adapt, learn, and exceed every expectation the universe has of you. He moved toward the door, then paused. Oh, and Captain? You might want to contact Earth Command. We have technologies to share that will require some adjustment to current human scientific understanding. The next phase of human evolution begins now. As the conference room door closed behind Webb and his retinue, Chen stared at the holographic display still showing the approaching cosmic horror. Humanity had survived ice ages, world wars, and the challenges of interstellar expansion. Now they would face something far older and more dangerous than anything they'd ever imagined. But they wouldn't face it alone, and they certainly wouldn't face it as the same species that had first reached for the stars centuries ago. The forgotten colony had returned, and they'd brought gifts that would change everything.